Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hip Hop and Anime Vibes. I am your guy, DTown, aka My Negro Black and Flamin' Ya, aka Tuxedo Flask, aka Goody Mob Psycho 100, aka Mew Tupac Shakur. And I am joined today by one of the coolest guys I know.
Oh, shucks.
Very dope lyricist. Ohio's repeat lyricist of the year multiple times.
Yeah, live performer too.
Live performer. Thank you for correcting me, man. Hold me accountable, brother.
Yeah, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by none other than
Crazy 8, the great Cleveland, Ohio's hip hop superhero.
Mm-hmm. The one and only, or as I like to refer to him as, the rhyme-slaying Super Saiyan that ain't playing. So,
Hey, you know what? I feel like nicknames and AKAs is like your hidden talent that I don't know people need to highlight more of. Because, man.
Let me tell you, man, if I keep it short out of respect for the listener, but if I wanted to, I can go on for 2.5 minutes with AKAs to where it's like, yo, that's the podcast. But keeping them all anime related. So just to set this up for the listeners, today I'm sitting down with Crazy 8 the Great. This interview is going to hit a little bit different because I know this guy in real life. Me and him have done shows together. We've rocked crowds together. We freestyle live on stage together with live bands. Crazy shit, man.
I've eaten dinner at its house.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
You know, so, you know, it's man, yep. This is family right here.
Man, on another level, So, let's get to it, man. You know, let's get the formalities out the way because even though I'm very familiar with you, we may have some first-time listeners that may be getting hip to who you are. So,
all right.
Go ahead, give them the elevator pitch. Let them know who Crazy 8 the Great is. Let them know why you're so great, all of that.
So, Crazy 8 the Great is your inner child that never died. You know what I'm saying? I'm an anti-bully activist. I speak for those that went through things that I went through, giving power to the powerless, voice to the voiceless, things of that nature. Heavy in the community, looking out, for the places that we grew up in. And then on the musical side of it, man, I'm good at what I do, bringing people aggressive nerd raps and great storytelling and things of that nature, man. Like, 'cause it's important. I feel like hip hop leans a certain way sometimes because of trends and what's popping. And I feel like I should give them balance. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are when it comes to, the music and things. Of course, award-winning, lyricist and performer. I worked really hard at that. Because I remember a time when I seen people on red carpets getting awards and stuff like that, and I was on the outside looking in, and I just said, hey, one day, that's going to be me. I'm going to be the one touring. I'm going to be the one on the red carpet. I'm going to be the one doing whatever. I just didn't know rapping about things that are nostalgic to me would get me there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, here we are 10 plus years later, and I've garnered respect from rapping about Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I know you're a humble guy, but I'm going to talk that shit for you real quick, man. You guys have to understand, with him talking about how doors opened up for him, that happened because not only is he really dedicated to what it is he does, not only is it because he speaks the language of like a niche group of like black nerds, but he's really dope as fuck when it comes to rhyming. Like,
I appreciate that.
And I think that when you partner good messaging and you're speaking to a demographic and you speak their vernacular, where you speak their language, it doesn't come off as fake, it doesn't come off as you're reaching. You really speak to the people, they understand you, and you're really talented at what it is you do, and that is something that resonates with them. So kudos to you there, my friend.
Thank you.
But I just didn't want to let the interview go without somebody saying Crazy 8 is nice as fuck. I didn't know if it was going to be you first or me first, but somebody had to say it.
I appreciate that, man. You know, I can't. It ain't for me to say. It's for the people to say. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't say it, but
yeah,
it's nicer when someone else does it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the album, man. The animated EP, right? Dropping August 8th, 8/8.
Yes.
So tell us, this is your debut project, right? You've put out mixtapes before this, but this is the first time that you're taking the world by storm and you're delivering an EP. I can see you've put a lot of work into it. Shout outs to you and Tino. You guys are workhorses. You guys work very hard.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what we can expect from this album.
Okay, so I'd like to say that the album itself answers the question of what would my life look and sound like if it were an anime? So given that everything that I've ever written comes from a place of darkness, because of things that I went through in the past, I started the story off in a dark place. And then I take you on this roller coaster ride from troubled youth to the world's greatest hero by the end of the album. So, you know, I start with my pain, and then I go transition into the pressures of not letting people down, to a nightmare sequence that includes my mom. I threw my mom on the album. That shit was crazy. Into fighting my bullies, overcoming that, feeling like the big man, trying to find, you know what I'm saying, trying to get the courage to talk to your lady for the first time, to, you know, encompass everything that I believe in when we get to Ultra Instinct, and then we end the album on this really triumphant note with a song called Take My Hand. And it's really like every song ends and then leads right into the next. And what's really cool is, you know what I'm saying, I found a guy in Japan to do narration for the album. That was dope. And just being able to like really make it more cinematic than just music.
Yeah.
It goes beyond music, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much like when you're listening to it, you should be able to see visuals as you're listening to the album.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, you know, based off of what it is I've heard from the album, it's definitely, you can see and hear the anime influence in it. This is becoming an experience, right? Because with you releasing the album art, and putting it on full display, it's you on top of the logo. You know, the jacket's blowing in the wind. It gave me real like shonen protagonist, Full Metal Alchemist vibes.
There we go. Hey.
So I see that with this project, right, there's definitely a merging of a lot of worlds, right? You're telling your story as someone who's disenfranchised, you know, you being a darker skinned nerd, coming up in the inner city of Cleveland, probably not widely being accepted, and then it's being merged with anime and all these different fandoms. And you're telling your story through all of that. So my question would be, why would you decide to make this merging of the worlds to be how you told your story and present your story?
Well, it's the most true to who I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, you could say I was pretty much raised by cartoons and movies and things of that nature. And then later on to find out that a lot of the cartoons that I watched were actually anime the whole time. So it's like anime has always been in the background of my origin story. So now that people know me in connection with anime, why not tell my story with that reference in the forefront this time? Because of how popular anime has become and how much more accepted it's become amongst people. And then the fact that like anime has had so much hip hop influence over decades, it only felt right and made sense that I do it this way because it's the truest to who I am and what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Had to highlight both of those at the same time. So it's like, because I know a lot of, nerdcore rappers and things like that, and a lot of them do a similar type of thing. So like I watch like my homeboy Game Boy Jones and Daddy Fat Snaps and Rustage and a lot of people that are like big on the YouTube scene, but they do these what I call tribute raps, as to where they make these songs and it's them like scenario for scenario acting as whatever anime character that they decide to cover for that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Where I found that I'm unique is that my real life actually parallels some of these anime stories.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put out music, yeah, I'm referencing these characters, but I'm also telling my real life at the same time. And I feel like that's where my unique niche is within this community.
Yeah.
So
I agree, man. Just I've heard bits and pieces and snippets of the album, and one of my comments when you were playing it for me and how it's structured, I'm like, this is an album that not only speaks to a core niche group of people, but if a person wasn't a fan of anime, if a person wasn't a nerd, if they weren't accustomed to this culture or anything like that, if they just came in as like a casual fan of hip hop,
right,
the album is put together in a way to where it doesn't turn people away. It's not so over the top and overdone to where it's like you're just like, I can't fuck with that. So I really enjoy that about the album. And to your point, I feel like a lot of us, even some of the listeners at home included, have certain characters in anime that resonate with us. We've picked up lessons along the way, especially if you watch as a kid, Goku, never give up. Sailor Moon, always, be strong as fuck and rely on your friends to help you, handle business. So I would say with this particular album, I'm going to ask this because I believe it's 8 tracks in total, correct?
Yeah, yes it is.
So if you had one shot to play a song for someone, to leave them with an impression of who you are as an artist based off of this current body of work, which is the animated EP, pre-sales start, I believe, July 21st.
Yeah.
What song would you direct them to?
Probably my crown jewel of the album, which is Take My Hand.
Okay.
Take My Hand is, it's like all right, so because I just have to put it out there that all right, so it's heavily referenced, sampled, and influenced by My Hero Academia, which is one of the growing, newer, popular anime. But at the same time, I literally I feel like I encompassed what One for All is into a song. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a collection of people making a power strong for the next person to come along. So it's like I've been doing this to empower other people. If you take anything away from my music career, whether the bars is dope or whatever the case may be, I want people to say, yo, he really did this for other people, other listeners, people who are like him, people who might have not been as encouraged to follow their dreams, or who didn't know that, it was okay to be a nerd, or, I want people to take away the fact that I do this for us as a community, as a people. And I feel like this song, its purpose is like, yo, if you're listening to this, I'm empowering you to become the next hero after me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would direct anybody to that song, because not only is it, I feel like it's put together exceptionally well, but I feel like the emotion is so authentic that you should, like, I don't know, anybody that listens to it should be able to feel like they've been given a jewel to carry into the future. That's the song I would point them to.
I think so too. I think that's everything that you said is spot on. I've had the honor and the privilege of not only hearing the song, but also having a very, very small part in the song. But I feel like it's a big part of the song.
It is. It is.
If I had to describe this track based off of what it is that I know, if you had a soundtrack to your life, and that's not just you, that's anybody that's listening, this would be the song that they play during the climax. This is where you're battling the monster, where you're overcoming that obstacle, where you're pulling through and you've reached your full potential, you've ascended to the next level of being, you've found the power within you or whatever. This song captures all of that. So I do want to formally say thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. But also,
I'm so glad.
Also, I would say I agree with you 100%. If anybody has the chance to listen to any music that you've ever done and they only have like one opportunity to hear one song, August 8th, All My Might is the song that they want to check out. So I'm going to pivot a little bit because I know it was inspired by My Hero Academia, which is one of the biggest animes of the season, of any season, really, shit. Let's pivot and talk a little bit about gateway animes. You talked earlier about how you were watching cartoons as a youngin', and you found out that, these are actually animes. What was your first anime? What was the first series or movie that you seen where you were like, you know what? I need more of this.
So I think I discovered Dragon Ball Z at like 8 years old, I want to say. And this is like a rare run where people don't even remember that Dragon Ball aired on 55. Like at a time, and before it hit Cartoon Network and Toonami, it was on 55, and I was young. I was over at my cousin's house, and it was Piccolo joining up with Goku to go fight Raditz. Right, and this art style was different than any other cartoon I ever seen. But I'm like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. And then fools started throwing beams out their hands and shit. And I was just like, blew my mind. Like, what? Like, and then the fact that was the only episode I had saw until the Toonami run of Dragon Ball. And then, so when Dragon Ball Z comes on Toonami later on, I want to say, what was I, like 5th grade or some shit? And they run into, like, they always started it with the Saiyan Saga. And they didn't necessarily start it at the very beginning of the Saiyan Saga. It really gets into Raditz touching down and kidnapping Gohan and so forth and so forth. And I was like, why does this shit look familiar? I feel like I've sat with this before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, okay. Then boom, it's like, oh shit, I seen that a couple years ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, I believe Sailor Moon was the next anime that I didn't know was an anime. And that was on 43 in the morning before you go to school. Given that, how cartoon styles or just art styles in general around that time, I always felt like Thundercats was an anime. Because of how it's put together and the way that it looks, you can't tell me that's not an anime.
I feel you though, man. I mean, just taking a look at your journey through becoming an anime fan and the gateway animes, I think that's why 90s anime has such a special and nostalgic place in a lot of the OG's hearts when it comes to anime, because as you stated, it was not easily accessible. Back then, you might have came across something on accident, or you had to dig through the crates to find something, or someone had to slide you a tape of a VHS cassette tape or a Betamax cassette tape of something that was roughly translated, and the translation probably wasn't all that well. And since there was such a scarcity for the medium, you had no other choice but to watch that same episode of Ronin Warriors
Exactly.
until the tape bust. And you had no idea that there was a whole series called Samurai Troopers that's like 85 episodes long that really covers the adventures from then. So, I mean, I definitely feel you on the gateway anime, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Thundercats as well. Definitely some good ones. So let's pivot a little bit here. We're going to move into a section that I like to call Top 5 Dead or Alive. All right?
Okay.
So this is where we kind of put you on the spot. And this is going to let not only me, but the listeners as well, this is going to let everybody know pretty much what they need to know about you based off of the subject we're going to discuss. So what this section is Top 5 Dead or Alive. You're going to pick the topic, okay? And it can be top 5 whatever. I want you to share with us what your top 5 whatevers are. So what are we going to be talking about today, my man?
Well, since, you know, we're on this anime kick, I'll go with top 5 anime.
Okay. Top 5 anime of all time, dead or alive. Let's start with number 5.
Number 5, I'm going to put My Hero Academia in my 5 right now.
Okay. I'll see you right there. Not that's a solid number 5 right there. Okay.
Yeah, it still got some stripes to earn before it can climb the ranks. So, you know. But right now, it evokes emotion the way that like Namek Saga Dragon Ball used to sometimes.
Okay, I respect it. So, My Hero Academia number 5. What's your number 4?
I'm gonna go with an anime called Case Closed.
Case Closed, Conan Ichigawa.
Yeah.
Only one truth always prevails.
One truth prevails, man. Like, me and my grandma, we love like murder mysteries and whodunits and things like that. And she was always big on Murder, She Wrote. And I would watch these things with her as a kid. So anytime a whodunit comes on and it's done right, I automatically love it. And Case Closed had a nice run on Adult Swim at a point in time. That's how I got introduced to it. And I had to be like 14 or something like that. And I've been hooked ever since. Like, I went and copped all the DVDs. Mm-hmm. I needed to see whatever. Like, Netflix has a new iteration of it right now. I haven't checked it out yet to see what it's about or if they're doing a retelling or some shit like that. But it's on my list.
Yeah. I've been sleeping on Case Closed. I think that's a good number 4. One of the movies that I want to see is the crossover between Case Closed and Lupin the Third.
Yeah, I gotta see it. It's on my list. I got that shit flagged.
I respect it. So we've got My Hero Academia number 5. We've got Case Closed number 4. What is number 3?
I'm gonna go with Bleach.
Bleach. Shocker. Oh my goodness, Bleach is in there. My goodness. Listen, Bleach catches so much slander online. But,
it does.
But for it to be number 3, I need to know. And of course, no judgment here, you know what I mean? Because it's a good anime. It's solid.
Right.
What makes it number 3 on your list?
I'm trying to think of which arc like really took it over the edge. But I want to say by the time Ichigo fights Ukiura, I was like, dude, how have I not watched this any sooner? Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially for it to be a part of the big 3. I never gave it a shot for real. I would always hear about it, but I pass it over because I was way too loyal to Dragon Ball at the time. So after I've seen Dragon Ball in entirety, from Goku as a kid to Super to everything a million times, I was like, all right, it's time to see what else people thought was great at that point. And then I literally I was working at the bank at the time, and every day, I literally binged Bleach at my desk as I did paperwork and shit. every day until I completed it and shit. And I was like, yo, how the fuck did I miss this?
Yo.
What is going on? And then by the time, the only thing I hated about Bleach was right before they went to go fight, Ichigo had like that final fight with Aizen. They did this side arc and shit that was way too long. It killed me. I was like, fam, really? The episode before we get into the fight with Aizen, you want to do a 26 episode story side arc that don't matter?
Bro, listen. The filler is what did Bleach in, but beyond the filler, it's still a good anime. But that's where I learned I truly have a distaste and deep disgust for fillers. You were right. It was just as you described it. Right when they're about to fight Aizen, you know, this smug, like one of the best, like, antagonists and heel turns in modern anime. They're like, hey, here's an arc where none of the characters matter. I'm like, yo! So I go ahead.
Like, and then they changed the big bad. Like the guy starts out as a captain, but it's like they did what. It's like they retold Aizen in a different timeline. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you think about it, that captain turned out to be the fucking villain at the end, and then we're going to fight the big villain who was once a captain too. Like, it was like, we could have just fought Aizen, man.
Yo,
like, what the fuck?
Yo, what really made me mad, like, cause you're right, cause I vaguely remember it, but it was like, they hard stop at Aizen, hard stop at the ultimate battle, hard stop at the climax of the series to celebrate some side character's birthday for 26 episodes. And then on top of that, like, I'm watching it on YouTube, so it's broke up into like 7 different parts per episode. Don't get me started. Either way, great number 3. It's coming back next year from what I understand, so I know you're excited about that. My Hero Academia number 5.
Yeah.
Number 4, case closed. Bleach, number 3. What's your number 2?
This is tough, right? This is tough because we already know what my number 1's going to be. But this number 2 spot is tough, and I've been battling this out for quite some time. But I'm going to have to say One Piece.
Okay. I thought you were about to say Avatar: The Last Airbender live action. Yo.
God damn.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, One Piece.
Yeah.
Over 1,000+ episodes. Why is this your number 2?
So I skipped this in the 90s completely. When it had a run on the Saturday morning cartoons with Yu-Gi-Oh! And shit like that on 55. They had a brief run. One Piece looked so awful compared to the other shows that I was watching, right? Mm-hmm. It was an immediate turn off. Mm-hmm. Not watching it, not caring about it. I almost hated it, like, without even, like, giving it a shot. The same way I hated the one anime that was about wrestlers and shit. You remember what the fuck that's called?
Yeah. It was like Mr. Muscle or Mount Muscle or some shit like that. Yeah,
some shit like that. And I was like, this shit is like the worst thing ever, right? Mm-hmm. So in 2018, I got laid off from the bank. And I had to readjust some things, go into business for myself to try to keep myself afloat. But I had a lot more time on my hands. Mm-hmm. And Jump Force was getting ready to come out not too long after that, and a lot of shit. And I'm like, people love Luffy, and I want to know why. So, I was like, all right, because I finished Bleach. I completed Naruto in entirety, which was a contender for my number 2 spot because of the storytelling was so incredible. But I'm like, all right, let me give One Piece a shot. So I dealt with the horrible Funimation app. I know how you feel about the Funimation app.
I need 10 minutes just to rip on Funimation and to rip on 4Kids TV. I'm gonna let you finish. You can do your thing. Finish talking about your number 2. Finish talking about One Piece, dog.
So I get to diving into One Piece, and of course, they give you the original aspect ratio. I got a big widescreen TV, so I had to watch it in that aspect ratio that it came on for TV. And the animation was what I hated before. And then the story just like catches you to the point where you're not really even giving a fuck about the animation all like that. And the world building, the characters, the way they did justice to like all the characters. And then before you knew it, I was a straw hat crew. Like before, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good. The more you watch it, the more you love it. And you get so enveloped in the characters to the point where like you always rooting for them no matter what. If they're in danger, you feel like you're in danger. I was like, yo, I think I'm a fucking One Piece fan. It was like, before you knew it, I was 547 episodes in. And the only thing that sucked was I started watching it, the English dub at episode. And the reason why I mentioned 547 episodes in is because episode 548, nothing but Japanese sub with English sub the rest of the way. Like we literally had no more dubbed episodes after episode 547. So I love this anime enough to switch from the English voice cast to the Japanese voice cast and still love it even more. And then we're currently in like the Land of Wano arc, and the art style is fan-fucking-tastic. And I had to put it in my top 2 just because of how it makes me feel when I watch it.
Okay. So I appreciate the response. I'm gonna pull over. I'm gonna put the car in park here real quick. Okay. Because you touched base on something that's really near and dear to me, and it stuck with me to this very day. You talked about your introduction to One Piece in the late 90s, early 2000s on Fox Kids TV.
Yes.
I would like to say, fuck 4Kids TV as a staff, a company, and a motherfucking record label. They destroyed so many good anime in the late 90s, early 2000s. A couple good ones came out, but Peep Game, yo, he took a bite of gum, yo, man, look. First of all, the intro was trash. Man's bars didn't even slap. When that man said, yo, Chopper's chopping and Sanji's cooking and Doctor's doctoring, I'm like, fam, I always twist my face up, man. They botched everything. Shaman King is another one that they botched.
Shaman
King, I watched it when it aired week over week. I had to download the torrents and watch it subbed with terrible fan subs that weren't even accurate, but still was an enjoyable series. So when it came over to 4Kids TV, I'm like, oh wow, this is great. I can't wait to watch this in the English dub. This is gonna be fantastic. 2006, right? Not only do they get the series and completely gut it from its original story content, they change names, they change character titles, they change whole storylines, and then they added a narrator to the entire story because they felt like American children were too dumb to follow along with the storyline. So fam, when I say fuck 4Kids TV, I mean every word of that shit. And Funimation, if y'all don't get that app together, y'all are next, man. I got nothing but smoke for y'all. Trust me, you don't want this.
The Funimation app gave me so much blues in the watching of One Piece that like, it was some blues, like especially like getting into like episode 700 to the 800 range or whatever is when I experienced the hell that is glitches and buffering with the Funimation app. It frustrated me to high hell.
Bro, when I tell you, I have not had a video buffer in my home since like 2003. So for me to want to legally support anime and legally support the culture give them money month over month for this app that doesn't even work, and then their correspondence, their customer service is terrible. I reach out to them. I'm like, yo,
trash.
We've got to fix this. You know what I mean? Like, how can we fix this, man? The Funimation app, as it stands right now in 2020, is arguably one of the worst apps on the market, and they are not showing any signs of acknowledging that they have an issue that's widely spread and having a negative impact on members playing back anything on whether it's a smartphone, tablet, or TV, cellular data, or Wi-Fi. They do not care. They're just like, it feels like a finesse. It's like they license these mediocre titles and they're like, we don't care, we got your money. Fuck you guys, man. All right, I'm sorry. So top 5, dead or alive, we've got number 5, My Hero Academia. Number 4, Case Closed. Number 3, Bleach. Number 2, One Piece. I'm sorry, man. What's your number 1?
Dragon Ball Z is undisputedly my number 1, given that it was my introduction to anime. It still holds a place that can never be replaced in my heart for it in its entirety. We won't talk about GT. Okay. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you mentioned Dragon Ball Z, I'm going to give you a passionate discussion about it every time, no matter what. I don't care if we're talking about the whack ass Garlic Jr. part of it, or you know what I'm saying, or Gohan's lackluster development into the forefront. Whatever the case may be, I don't care if it's good or bad. I love Dragon Ball in its entirety. It's just, it is what it is. It's the OG of shonen anime.
Nah, I fucks with it heavily. And I mean, what's your favorite arc though? What's your favorite Dragon Ball Z arc?
The Namek arc is the best, one of the best arcs in anime in general. Given how Super Saiyan was paid off, the actual transformation in itself was so epic when it happened. The face-off against Frieza, the comical yet action-packed version of fighting off the Ginyu Force. Although I wish they would have gave me the version where Goldo's head gets cut off. I needed that, you know what I'm saying? Because I hated his little green bitch ass. Yeah. Like, I needed that in life, you know what I'm saying? So that has to be my favorite arc because, well, one, we got that far on Toonami. And then for the longest on Toonami, like right after the Namek arc, it'll repeat again. So it's like, it was stuck. Yeah, we were stuck. Because remember, the first Toonami run, we wouldn't get past the Saiyan Saga. Yeah. So it's like, even before Goku would beat Vegeta, it would repeat back to episode whatever the fuck. It never started at episode 1, where he got to rescue Gohan from falling off that cliff. Like, they never showed that on Toonami. Yeah. But we get that, you know what I'm saying, they would revert right back there, and then eventually we got the entire Frieza saga. So it's still the saga we sat with the longest. So I guess that's another reason why it still puts me in that place. I remember walking home from school, running home, getting yelled at because I ain't doing homework because at 5 o'clock Dragon Ball was coming on and I needed to be there so that I could the next day go back to school. Like, did y'all see Goku do X? You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. That was the time. So that arc holds the most passion for me.
Yo, the Namek arc literally is like one of the best like arcs in all of Dragon Ball because so much happened. Right. So I'm gonna share something here with you in regards to how I feel about Dragon Ball and how I feel about Gohan as a character. Things is gonna go left here. It's gonna get real dark real quick. I'm gonna depress a whole lot of people. But
I'm here with you.
The narrative around Gohan is that he's a waste of potential. He had so much going for him. He was a prodigy, all of that good stuff. And then you see him in Dragon Ball Super, and he's a joke. He can't beat anyone. When Broly showed up, he definitely sensed Broly on Earth. He didn't even pull up.
He did.
So he didn't want none of the smoke.
Nah.
So I got to sitting and thinking, and I took a look at Gohan's character over the years, over the development, over time. And I realized that if we're looking at this from like a real world perspective, and just walk with me here, because it's going to get really dark, but...
All right, let's get it.
Kidnapped at the age of 5. Homeless, lived in the wilderness under a stranger's care
for a year,
for a full year. Watched his dad die. Trained to fight under an alien that he doesn't even know, right? Then watches his dad come back to life, gets beat up again, watches his caretaker get clapped, gets sent into outer space, miles away from his family. You know, mind you, he hasn't had the opportunity to even see or speak to anybody, but they're just shipping him off to outer space to handle big boy business. Gets his neck broke.
Yeah.
Then his dad dies again. Then it turns out his dad isn't dead. He's just gone for 2 years. Then the moment his dad comes back, his dad's already back to training him and beating him up for a year. And it's just like, you see the cycle, like even in the Cell games, right, where Goku gave Cell the Senzu bean and said, "Get in there, Gohan, do your thing." It's become obvious to me that Gohan has a lot of trauma, and I would love to see an arc. And this is completely different from the tone of Dragon Ball, but
Right.
where he's sitting down with a therapist unpacking this stuff, because there's generational curses that he's breaking as well. He's the first person in his family to not only go to college, but get a degree, and he's raising his family, and he's being the father that he didn't get the chance to have. So part of me feels like there may be some resentment that he has deep down inside of him, that if he were to able to resolve that issue, not only would he become a better fighter, but it would work better for the series as well. Like, it's just weird, man. I'm sorry I took you on that whole bizarre trip.
No, but I absolutely agree, because like, depending on what lens you're looking at the story from, he's actually living at maximum potential.
Yeah, dude.
He's a functioning member. He's a functioning member of society. He's not a psycho killer because of trauma. He got, you know what I'm saying, his wife, he's married into a wealthy family. He, you know what I'm saying, he takes good care of his wife and daughter. He goes to work every day. The nigga even, like, for a minute was a stand-in in a movie shoot about his life as a superhero.
Exactly, dog. Like, you know what happens when people grow up like that in real life? Like, they end up getting like assault charges and shit like that because they can't process shit as an adult. And I'm not saying that to be funny, but I'm just saying, like, when we look at Gohan and what it is that he's been through, it's a wild story. It's a wild story. But I digress, man. I digress. So we got your top 5.
Yeah. That shit is fucking hilarious.
Yo.
Not to mention, though, that Gohan has never been more Saiyan-like since he beat Cell, though. Like, when he beat Cell, he was the most Saiyan-like he will ever be. After that, like, I expected him to be, like, fully accepting of his half alien heritage and truly be that, the way that, like, Vegeta would probably want him to be.
Right.
Not Goku.
But here's the thing, right? Of course, Goku doesn't know that heritage. And if we look at, like, the majority of his life as a child, like, there are significant bouts where Goku is absent from his life for whatever reason that are critical and crucial to his development. And I think that that's one thing that people don't understand. Like, when Goku was present and training him, that's when he was flourishing for the most part. Like, if Goku hadn't have chosen not to stay dead for 6 years and instead just came back and decided to work with his son. Like, Gohan needed that guidance. Chi-Chi took him in another way. But as far as like being a warrior, it was really important for Goku or Gohan to have that father there, for somebody to guide him through that process to where he continued to train and continued to excel. But I digress, man. I'm off on a tangent. I'm sorry, man. It's one of the
I appreciate it though, man.
It's one of the primary reasons I hate Goku, but we're not gonna have the Goku is a deadbeat dad conversation.
He's the poster child for deadbeat dad.
Oh man.
Him and Jing freaks, man.
Yo, is anybody worse than Jing? Is anybody worse than Jing?
Jing is awful, bro.
Jing named his son what he was gonna be as soon as Gon was born. He was like, oh, I'm gone, dog. You go. I'm out of here, dog.
And then, like, every chance he had to, like, get his nigga, like, a chance to, like, hang out with him and shit is like, hey, I gotta bounce real quick because my son's getting close. Like, I gotta stay a step ahead. Like, that shit was so shitty.
Dog, man.
And then it's like he finally catch up to the nigga at the end, and the shit is like, well, since you're here now, you finally caught up to me. Let's just go do more dangerous shit that'll probably get you killed. Like, I never trained you for shit.
Bro. Bro. Gon's relationship with Ging is like that episode of The Fresh Prince where Will's dad came back and didn't take him with him. Like, that's Gon's whole life. He's looking at Killua like, oh no, why they don't want me, man?
That's straight, man. It's all kind of dad trauma in there, because like even Killua's fucking family is the worst thing ever. Like, these are some tragic little niggas, man.
Yo, man.
And it's tragic.
Yo, man, they like, man, we all we got, man. You know, we gotta stick together. Like, oh, like that's how they bonded. Like, oh, your family is trash too. Oh, word.
Facts. Facts. They should just throw Gohan in there though and just form a little crew, man. Like, look,
oh man,
we're the sons of shitty fathers. Oh no, who else got a shitty dad? Let's have a shitty dad conversation for a second.
Go for it.
Edward Elric, his father is shitty. I don't know, man. Like, that's the sinister, sadistic motherfucker right there, man.
That man was like, oh, y'all did what now? Oh, I'm out. No, ma'am.
Like, oh, there's a lot of shitty dads within Full Metal Alchemist, man. My man's that turned his daughter into the Chimera and shit.
Oh, Show Tucker.
Yeah. Show Tucker, man.
Yo, man, that's nuts. That guy, he's terrible.
Dude, every time I see the meme, it's always still too soon, bro.
Man,
it's always too soon.
That came out of nowhere, man. Like, even being prepared for it, rewatching it, it still is like one of the most horrifying acts. Yeah, just like in a regular shonen anime. Shinji's father from Neon Genesis Evangelion is shitty, but it's hard for us to remember that because Shinji himself is fucking shitty. Like,
right.
They're both terrible in their own unique ways, and they deserve each other.
I just started rewatching that on Netflix when they put it on there. Like, I've been watching a few episodes off and on. Like, oh, I remember this shit.
Netflix fumbled the bag on that one because they couldn't even get "Fly Me to the Moon" as the closer, and
exactly.
But watching it on Netflix was the first time I watched the series to completion, and I've never felt more robbed in my entire life than I did by the conclusion of Neon Genesis Evangelion. It was a terrible time. And then, like, I'm not a dumb guy. But I'm smart enough to know some things I have to look up. And I'm like, maybe there's some hidden Japanese meaning in here. And then it was like, yes, there is a meaning in here. No, this is what really happened in the ending and da-da-da-da-da. And then as I dug deeper, they were like, nope, the staff was fed up with shit and they cut funding, so they just ended it. And I'm like... To me, at least, that's how the article read. I could very well be on here spreading lies and slander, but still, allegedly, that's what the article read, and I'm never going. It
sounds accurate to me, because that's how it plays out.
Yeah, but I'm gonna wrap this thing up here, man. Listen, it was great chopping it up with you. Solid interview. The animated EP available August 8th. Pre-orders July 21st. Crazy 8
Which
the
is
Great.
Also my birthday.
Oh shit, happy birthday, man. Happy 21st.
Oh yeah, 21 forever.
Hey, there we go. So where can they find the EP? Where can they pre-order it? Where can they find you on social media? Give them the information they need to get in contact with you and find the EP.
All right, so follow me on all social media platforms at Crazy, the number 8, THE, Great. It's only one of me, you can't get another. The pre-order for the album link will be in my bio via whatever social media platforms that you have. So if you're on Twitter, it'll be in my bio. If it's on Instagram, it'll be on my bio. If you go to my Facebook, it'll probably be a pinned post. But that's how you'll be able to get to the pre-order. After that, the album is available August 8th. That'll be available on all major streaming platforms. No matter where you stream music, you'll find the album. I also want to highlight the fact that I'm doing a giveaway for people that pre-order the album. I want to, give a gift to people that's supporting something that's super, super important to me. So not only when you pre-order on 7/21, you get an unreleased track instantly, but 3 people out of all of the pre-orders will get a free gift from me. Whether it's a t-shirt, a poster, and one lucky person will get a cash gift from me. I'm cash apping somebody some money. So pre-order my album and you get free shit. What's better than that?
So my man said pre-order it, you get free shit. He's gonna cash somebody out. Some lucky person's gonna get flued out to Cleveland. No, you're not flying anybody out. But I like it, man. I'm a huge fan of the rollout, man. I can't wait for people to get to the EP. Any final thoughts?
I just want to say, man, thanks for having me on the platform. Thanks for always supporting and helping out in every way you can. Thank you for being on the album. First of all, let me say that. Whether you feel it might be a minor part or not, it's actually major in its own right and regard because of the feeling we're giving people. And I also want to say to anybody listening to the podcast, buy my album.
Yes.
I mean, buy it. And if you really fuck with the music, this is how we take it to the next level. Support in numbers is what we need to make this thing go to the next level. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Indeed. As always, my friend, it's been a pleasure chopping it up with you. I'm going to close things out. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Hip Hop and Anime Vibes. I'm your host, DTown, a.k.a. Pusha T'Challa, a.k.a. Eric Trillmonger, a.k.a. Mr. If I Ruled the World, a.k.a. Sailor Goon. And in the name of the Goon, I'll see you next time. Peace.